Hello everyone, welcome to our GT Sport Daily Race C Strategy Guide. This week, week 39 of 2021, we are heading to Fuji International Speedway in Japan, and it is the ever popular Group 3 category. So let's take a look at the detailed settings for this one. 12 laps to get round, tyres at times 7, fuel at times 2, it's the soft and the medium tyres that are available. Both of them should be mandatory, BOP is on, damage is off, it's a rolling start and slipstream is real. So it does feel like we visit Fuji very often, but we have to go all the way back to June 2020 to when we actually did this combo as a daily race C in the Group 3 car. So in that respect, fairly fresh. Even though Fuji is generally overused as a track. I do remember doing this race last time. It was the medium and the hard tyres. The settings were very similar, albeit it was times 8 on the tyre wear, and I remember having a whole lot of fun driving this one. Lots of cars seem to be fairly competitive. I used the Mercedes AMG a lot during that week, so just for that reason we have chosen that as our test car. It will be interesting to see what car becomes the meta as the week develops. Will it be the ever popular or ever used, more likely, I'm not sure how popular it is, Toyota Supra, which seems to be the dominant Group 3 car at the moment. As I said though, we're in the Mercedes AMG, very much a jack of all trades car in the Group 3 category, and given this track has a little bit of everything with a very long straight, some tight and twisty corners and some more fast flowing corners, a car that is a jack of all trades should do okay around here. But let's move on to the strategy. First thing we're going to look at and talk about is starting on the soft tyres and just how long these soft tyres are going to last. So really the aim when you start on the soft tyres, you will be finding that kind of peak lap where you kind of, once you make the pit stop onto the mediums, you've burned off a little bit of fuel, the soft tyres are boring, you want to be just about as quick on those medium tyres, if not quicker. So I was kind of thinking, I guess around about lap 6, we've done a few test runs on the medium tyres and the soft tyres, and I could see the tyre wear, despite it only being at times 7, was actually slightly higher than I was expecting. I did sort of initially expect when I seen the settings that maybe you could do 8-9 laps on the soft tyres fairly comfortably. However, by lap 6 and onto lap 7 that we're on now, the tyres were very much giving up the ghost. You can see we're struggling into the chicane there, and particularly through this last sector, which really does demand front end grip. We were struggling big time. I do believe we went 1 lap too long. Then we weren't doing any kind of tyre saving over this stint here, just wanted to see just how the tyres kind of degraded naturally. So I suspect with a little bit more care on the tyres, a little bit of tyre saving, 7 laps on the softs will be possible for some players out there. But on this occasion it did feel like 1 lap too many for myself. And I believe the kind of optimal point for moving on to the medium tyres from the soft tyres is probably lap 6. However, let's get into this pit lane now. You can kind of drive in here at full throttle. It feels like you're cheating a little bit when you do it because you're kind of cutting the lines, but it is possible, and obviously it will save you a little bit of time. So onto the medium tyres we get now. Fairly lengthy pit loss, not quite as long as the pit loss in Group 4 for the recent FIA manufacturers race. Group 3 pit stops do tend to be a few seconds quicker than Group 4. But when it's all said and done, when you've got the tyres changed, it's 19.5 seconds you will lose on the track. Fuel, no issue whatsoever. Fuel only being at times 2 means you will finish the race with around about 50% fuel. So given that as a factor, a car that kind of burns through the fuel may carry a slight advantage here in terms of getting a little bit more longevity out of the tyres. Obviously a lighter car means that the tyres are doing a little bit less work. Now onto the medium tyres we are now though. I immediately felt so much more grip in these fresh mediums compared to our worn softs. And our lap times towards the end of the soft run, where we're kind of hitting the mid 1 minute 38 towards maybe about a late 1 minute 38, so we were looking to be quicker than those lap times on our fresh mediums, and we do kind of successfully manage to achieve that with a 1:38.3, our first flying lap on the mediums, then a couple of 38.5s. Now we ran into a couple of AI cars here on the last lap, maybe cost us around about half a second, 4 attempts at the very least, and that compromised our last lap time. We would have been on course for another 1 minute 38.5 or 6. So the medium tyre pace, once the kind of fuel is burned down and compared to worn softs, is very comparable. So in my kind of opinion, what I think the optimal strategy for starting on softs and moving on to the mediums is maybe a 6-6 split. If you're exceptionally good on tyres, or maybe an exceptionally good car on tyres, you could maybe go for some kind of overcut by staying out that additional lap on the soft tyres, but that's not going to be a strategy available to every player. Let's move on then to taking a look at the medium soft strategy. Now we join our Mercedes AMG leaving the pit lane here, having just done 4 laps on the medium tyres. So I kind of knew I was going to be pushing the tyres quite a lot here to try and get 8 laps out of them, given how much we were struggling to get 7 laps out of the soft tyres on the previous run. So this out lap here, we were very much going into tyre conservation mode. So coming through the fast left-hander there, you can probably drop down to 3rd gear in the Mercedes, where we're keeping it in 4th gear. Coming round 100R here, just letting the car roll round, putting as little stress through the tyres as we possibly could. Another good place to save tyres is down in towards the chicane here that we're now approaching. You would probably normally drop down to 1st gear and then accelerate out of the first part of the chicane in 1st gear, but just keeping it in 2nd will reduce that wheel spin, put less stress through the tyres, and just every little bit is going to help when we are looking to try and do 8 laps on our soft tyres. So a little sneaky change there all the way to lap number 12, and have our soft tyres survived? And the answer to that question is just about. Really kind of starting to feel a bit of tyre wear and degradation and performance loss on the last 2 laps, but nothing too dramatic. The car's still quite drivable. We were saving the tyres all the way up to around about lap 11 before we kind of just unleashed whatever grip was left on this last lap. But we went from a 137.5 and I think we finished with a 139.1 here. So around about 1.6 seconds worth of degradation over the 8 laps is not too bad at all. Definitely possible to do the 8 laps if you're careful on the tyres and quite happy to do a little bit of tyre saving, but maybe not a strategy for everyone. I think the more optimal strategy for starting on the mediums would be something like a 5-7, and maybe if you're really bad on tyres, just going a 6-6 split that way as well. But let's move on to that part of the video where we kind of reiterate everything we've already learned over the course of the video so far, and we'll briefly go through the strategies. So in terms of the soft medium, the optimal in my eyes is a 6 soft 6 medium split. If you're looking to maybe try and do some kind of overcut, you kind of look after the tyres over the first few laps just because you're maybe stuck in some traffic. You can maybe go for that 7th lap on the soft tyres. Once your rivals move on to the mediums, possibly you might just have a little bit more speed if you've kind of left some life in the soft tyres. Again, don't think it's going to be a strategy for everyone. I think most players will be kind of more kind of a 6 soft 6 medium. If you're really bad on the pad on your tyres, you may be only looking at 5 laps on the soft tyres and then 7 laps on the mediums. But even at that, try to do 7 laps on the mediums will mean you will see some tyre wear towards the end of the race. In terms of the medium soft, optimal it looks to be around about 5 medium 7 soft. If you're wanting to try and get some kind of undercut, then I guess 4 mediums 8 softs like we did in the video is definitely possible. But bear in mind, if you try that strategy towards the last couple of laps, those drivers who have maybe done the soft medium run will be quicker on their sort of fresher mediums compared to your Warren softs. So fairly interesting race in prospect. There's not a massive pit window, which is quite interesting. It's not like one of these races where you can just do the minimal amount of laps on the medium tyres and then just do the rest on the soft like we often get with these races. The medium tyres are very much coming into play and you're going to be doing a fair stint of the race on them, which is quite interesting. Makes the medium tyres, like, you know, a viable part of the race rather than just a kind of afterthought, if you like. So I'm quite looking forward to this one. It should be fairly interesting. And of course be very interesting to see what cars come to the fore. My kind of immediate thoughts, having done the test runs, is that the Beetle might be quite handy around here just purely for its tyre saving abilities. But I think a lot of cars should be possible, should be usable. Again, once the kind of the pit window is reduced a little bit, then you do tend to see more cars coming to the fore. Okay then, let's jump on board our Mercedes AMG. We'll do a little bit of a lap guide and I'll give you some hints and tips for where you can possibly save tyres, because we were saving tyres on this run. So coming into turn number 1, you're looking for the 150 metre board or the end of the stand on the left hand side. Braking in a nice straight line, get the car into the apex. We did this corner in 2nd gear. If you're looking for maximum pace, you would probably drop down into 1st, but we are looking after tyres on this run, so 2nd gear is what we were looking at here. Into the fast left-hander. Normal drop down to third, but we keep it in 4th here. Now, one handy tip here is to make sure you have the car nice and straight on that kerb, or you could become a victim of the kerb glitch. It will spin a few folk out over the course of the week. It's a very rare thing to happen, but it definitely does happen. The confound 100R there. Try not to use the brakes if you don't have to. Just let the car roll round, and again, you'll save yourself a little bit of tyre wear. Put a little bit of less stress through the tyres. Now come down towards probably the most critical part of the track, and where you can save or lose a lot of lap time. So the Dunlop board is what I use as my braking reference here. Now you can use a lot of this kerb here. You can cut it quite a lot, but if you cut it too much you will pick up a 1.5 second penalty, which you will then serve on the main straight, and that will be very, very bad news indeed. Now as you come through these corners here, what you're trying to do is get the car as straight as you can, as quick as possible, and then you can get on the throttle a little bit earlier, and you will sort of save some lap time. Again, it's the same through all the way through this last sector. It's all about hitting apexes and getting the car straight, and then getting on the throttle as early as you can and keep as much momentum as you can. Into the last corner, you've got the orange barrier on the right hand side. That's your reference point. Very, very difficult technical sector, the last sector of Fuji, but if you get it right, it's quite satisfying. But as those tyres start to wear, it can become increasingly frustrating. It's probably one of the least popular bits of track, along with the last chicane at Catalonia in the game. But 137.5, nothing spectacular. As I said, we were saving tyres through that lap as well, so definitely a little bit more lap time in the tank for myself. So yeah, as I said earlier, quite looking forward to this race. It should be good fun. Group 3 around Fuji I think works quite well. I think it works a little bit better than the Group 2 cars, if I'm perfectly honest with you. And I do like the Group 2 cars around here as well, but Group 3 cars are just a little bit less hectic. And sometimes I can find that a little bit more enjoyable. So yeah, please do join me for a live stream later on in the week for this one. We do have the update coming in Tuesday as well. Hopefully that could be a return of the penalty system. I mean, they're going to have to bring it back at some point, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if anything else comes with that. Probably there's going to be a few bug fixes and maybe a BOP change, but it will be interesting to see what that brings. As I said, hopefully a return of the penalty system. But yeah, thank you very much for watching if you've made it to this point, and I shall see you on the next one. Good luck out there. Goodbye.